Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out KASPA's price chart, and something quite interesting happened recently that, in my view at least, it does open the doors to having some bullish possibilities in here, indicating, who knows, maybe we are a bit lucky and the final low is already in. So, are you ready? Let's dive in and see what is going on. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about KASPA, we were right around the lows, and the idea was that, yeah, okay, you are able to consider this thing a 1 2 3 4 5 wave down. However, this specific phase down into our wave 3 doesn't necessarily have a sense of urgency. That's why I said, well, okay, maybe we should consider this thing being an A B, and this 5 wave is going to be into our C leg, and followed by that we can have a bit of a bounce in form of a 1 2 3 4 5, which might actually trick a lot of people into believing that the bottom is in. But I need you at that point to be a bit patient, because on a higher degree this might be into the C leg of a potential ABC, either a running flat or maybe an expanded flat, depending on whether we are going to take this high or not. Meaning what? Overall, after this phase is over, we are going to have another move down in order to clear all the lows. So what happened? As you can see, we did get a move on the upside, but I was actually talking about having a 5 wave specifically from this point, and in my view, sure, this is a 1 2 3 4 5 to about this point, but followed by that we are having correction down, and this is another 5 wave on the upside. So essentially you're actually having in here an A B C in form of a zigzag, and pay attention what happened in this region. I think this is a 1 2 3, probably a triangle for 4, another move down into wave 5. Now that 5 wave that I talked about earlier is actually happening right now, and I do think off of the lowest low this is a 1 2 and probably 1 2 3 4 5 to about this point, followed by a flat into 4, another move up into wave 5. So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? Because in this specific phase we didn't get a 5 wave on the upside. That actually opens the door to having potentially a form of triangle, and A B C D E, something like this. There we go. And in terms of the subwaves, we must be able to find in every single leg basically A B C zigzags, A B C up into C, this is ABC down into D, and our final ABC on the upside into our E leg. Now let's go on the live chart and see what happened. And now I'm gonna say, you know what, this wasn't actually the end of our wave 4. Instead, maybe this is going to be the end of it, and from this high you can say ABC up into A, ABC into B, ABC into C, ABC down into D, and another ABC on the upside into our E leg. And because in here we are able to find a 5 wave, well, okay, how about this? Can this be into this wave 5? The answer is absolutely yes. And this scenario is sort of kind of more likely, since in here we are having a 5 wave on the upside. Now, I think you probably know what I'm about to say. If you want to be bullish on any chart and you want to, for example, call this point our final low, then okay, find me from the lowest low a 1 2 3 4 5 wave up, followed by a correction structure on the downside. And this, my friends, brings me to what is happening right now. You see, at any given moment, any analyst should be 100% objective and be able to find a bullish and also a bearish count at the same time. So in the interest of not really getting your hopes up that much, let's say, well, okay, how about having an A, B, C in form of an expanded flat to about the highs? Pay attention to what I'm about to say. This is actually the key point of today's update. In case that we see a very strong move down, and by that in terms of Elliott waves specifically, I'm talking about a 1 2 3 4 5 wave without a lot of overlapping of the waves. At that point, that's actually going to strengthen the possibility of having a flat in here a bit more, meaning what? Our move down, unfortunately, in KASPA is not over. However, if instead of having a strong move, we end up getting a correction structure down, a very slow and choppy move, or maybe just a 3-wave movement, I'm going to tell you in a bit what do I like in this area. Okay, at that point, maybe we should be flipping bullish and consider this thing as a 5 wave up into a wave 1, correction for 2, meaning number 1, the bottom is in, and number 2, what's next? Yep, you know the answer, huge move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. Now, specifically in the short term, let's go on maybe 15-minute time frame. Okay, so here's the deal. Assuming that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up to about this height, then okay, I can tell you maybe we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the downside, and I'm really hoping that this is going to be into a wave A, correction for wave B, and we get another move down into our C leg, and then from, let's say, these areas around maybe 7.5, 7.55 cents, doesn't really matter a whole lot, we have to get a very strong bounce, a 5 wave, in order to take the height of our B leg. Why is this so important? Because that's actually going to confirm that indeed this is a correction structure, and most likely, again, there is no certainty in any market at any given moment. We are just talking about different possibilities, and that's why I'm telling you, if we end up doing something like this and take this high immediately, most likely we can at that point argue the bottom is in. Now, can we consider some other possibilities? The answer is maybe yes. Here is how I can argue some. You see, you can say maybe instead of this point, this is the end of your wave 3, and followed by that, to about here, we are having a wave 4. And even according to this count, I do think that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. However, it might be something like this. This can be ABC up, this can be ABC on the downside. There we go. And on a higher degree, this whole move down starting from this point and not the highest side might be an ABC expanded flat. And I'm not really going to be surprised if in KASPA we end up, for example, from like just below, getting a move up in order to take the highest high immediately around, let's say, 8.2 cents area. However, even according to this count, I once more have to see a bit of a pullback on the downside in order to have a better understanding of what is going on in here, and hopefully this is going to be a 1-2 structure, meaning the bottom is in, or maybe sadly this is going to be just part of a flat structure, indicating the final low just for like very short term is not in yet. So one way or the other, this is our final conclusion. In KASPA, I do think soon we're going to get a move down, and if this is it, I'm going to say this is going to continue a bit more, and let's hope that we're going to get a slow move down, hopefully in form of an ABC zigzag, which in that case, from these areas, all eyes on the bounce that we're going to get, and if this ends up being quite a strong one in order to take the height, that is going to be like the best sign that you could ever ask for in any chart if you want to say that we are looking optimistic. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in KASPA's price charts. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member of my main channel and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.